Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I'm interviewing a really great guest, one of the quintessential 80s movie nerds of all time, and that is Stuart Charno, the star of John Carpenter's Christine, Friday the 13th Part 2, but he was also in that great classic movie, Just One of the Guys. He's the guy with the reptiles. And so I'll be interviewing him today. Also, I should note he was the cabin boy vampire in Once Bitten, but he's got a lot of great credits, and we'll be talking with him in just a moment and stuff. And I just can't wait. I mean, he was a huge part of my childhood. I mean, he's one of the greats in 80s movies. I mean, I'm excited. So, without further ado, let's see, we got a few more seconds here.
Hello.
Hi, Stu.
Yes.
How you doing?
Is this Tommy?
Yes, it sure is.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. How are you this morning?
Well, I was just in the midst of cooking giant pork.
Giant fork?
Yeah. In a slow cooker.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You caught me in the midst of mid-onion. Messing up some onions.
Mm-hmm. I thank you for taking the time to do this interview this morning. It's such a great honor. I'm a huge fan.
Well, I'm delighted. And let's spend a little while talking.
Yeah, I was doing my research, and I found out you did stand-up comedy.
No, I never did. I used to sing songs that I wrote that were kind of comical lyrics.
Yeah.
So that's as close as I got to stand-up.
Oh, so did you like go up on stage and just sing a song with a guitar?
A piano.
A piano?
Which limits the number of places I can work at.
Yeah. Did you?
Nothing for the size of the piano.
Yeah. Did you do it like at the Improv?
This was in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And as I started doing that, I was just called into acting.
Mm-hmm.
A woman at a table nearby me, she walks over and she says, because just looking at me, she says, "Hey, are you a comedian?" And I said, "I feel funny." And she said, "Go study some acting." She was an agent. Is that big off?
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's when I started acting. And I got the movie Friday the 13th Part 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been doing stand-up for 12 years, and I can tell you it's hard.
Oh, my God. How did you start?
Well, I had been, entertaining my family after dinner since I was like 3 years old.
Right.
And one night, when I was 23, my friend said to me, "Hey, there's this place up in San Francisco, up in the city, that has an open mic night. You want to go up there and try it?" And at first I was
Incredible. Did it work?
Well, at first I was reluctant, but then I said okay. And yeah, I mean, immediately, like, I just got addicted to it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's, what'd you talk about? What was your first routine?
I was doing jokes from other comedians because it was my first time, because I didn't have any material to do really. Right. But then I immediately started writing when I got home that night, and then I kept on doing it ever since.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I never thought about doing that. No, I have thought about it, but I've never done it, never tried.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's really hard, but
Yeah, it's really hard.
But it's for people, who can, tolerate all the stuff that comes with it, pretty much.
Right.
But your first movie was Friday the 13th, Part 2.
Actually, I did another movie before that, but that was the first one that was worth anything.
Mm-hmm. But
and then, you know, from there on, it went on. I went, after a little while, I moved to Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
Very shortly after that. And so I've been living in Los Angeles ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And my agent moved out here, so I moved out here also. And, you know, that's where everything was happening. But I don't like acting. I was terrible at acting. I thought, you know, the stuff that I tried to do really serious,
mm-hmm.
I don't suffer enough as a human being. As a human being, I'm naturally delighted to be alive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really different than trying to, you know, act out other people's misery.
Mm-hmm.
Getting upset for imaginary reasons. So that's crazy. That's what crazy people do.
Yeah.
But you know, for some reason, some people are really good at it, and they can make believe all day.
Yeah.
And they go home and they feel just fine. To me, it was insanity. So a little bit of acting that I've done, in addition to stuff you've seen, I've mostly done commercials.
Yeah.
Those commercials were supposed to be funny, and so if I got the joke, then I was like, I could do it, and I did over 100 commercials.
Yeah. I remember you did a commercial for like taco salsa.
Yep, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff that I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some stuff on a video, so I'm going to make a website sometime soon, and then I'll have all my commercials on there.
Nice.
Or I'll have some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, Friday the 13th Part 2 is one of my favorite sequels. And, yeah, this was like Steve Miner's first movie as a director, because he had been a crew member on the first one.
Yeah. He started me.
Mm-hmm. What was it like making the movie?
You know, it was 35 years ago, so I don't remember a fucking thing. It was fun, and we were staying there, so we were on location, and I was a little kid. I was a young guy, so I had no idea what it would mean. It was just a job.
Yeah. Amy Steele, she's great in it.
In Los Angeles, I got all kinds of jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Amy Steele is great in it.
Yeah, she is. She's a great lady, too.
Yeah. I interviewed Russell Todd last summer, and he's a good guy.
Yeah. He's a good guy, too. No doubt. But, you know, here we are. 35 years later, and you know, it's like a footprint that I left in the sand, you know, some time ago. And then, you know, people asked me about it, and it was like, oh, it's just a footprint.
Yeah.
What I was able to do at the time. It was my natural, because that's how I did acting. I just did it. Like I performed however I would do it if I was doing it. So I just made like I was in a van with some guys. That's silly.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it was like for me. Just I made believe I was there.
Yeah, the way Tom McBride dies in the movie, me and Russell talked about this. You couldn't get away with that today. It's so wrong.
That's funny, you're right. I didn't think of that. That's right, it's wrong.
I mean, when I was a kid, I thought it was hilarious, but now that I've actually been in a wheelchair, it's not so funny anymore.
Yeah. You were in a wheelchair?
I was in I had a car accident a couple of years ago, so I was in a wheelchair for a short time. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You know, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Oh.
Yeah, so there are a lot of people who wind up in a wheelchair with that. So
yeah,
doing a lot better than other people.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed David Lander, who played Squiggy on Laverne and Shirley, and yeah, he's had MS for almost 35 years.
Yeah, I've had it over 20 years.
Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Stu. God bless you.
God bless us all.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because, you know, there's people all over the place that have it a lot worse than me.
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky. And I'm still lucky.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You played a baseball player in The Chosen.
That was my first movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first thing I ever did. First time I ever was on a set. And it was amazing because there was a scene that was sort of a wide scene, a wide shot, and there were houses or apartments that had air conditioners.
Right.
And they had to be covered up because there were no air conditioners at the time.
Wow.
It was something else was like that too, like taking into account at the time that the movie is supposedly made, so it had to be realistic.
Did you get to interact with Rod Steiger and Maximilian Schell?
A tiny bit. You know, just like acknowledging each other. But they're both great actors.
Oh, Academy Award winners. I mean, it must have been intimidating.
I didn't think of it. I was just a guy in a job like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think of that they must be special because they're good liars. Because acting is lying.
Yeah.
And some people are really good liars.
Yep.
Yeah, most people will talk of it like that. Because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
From one point of view, actors are liars. And really good actors are really good liars.
Yes, they are. I have a theory. Actors and criminals have high self-esteem more than anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Criminals?
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Yeah, that probably is true.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you did John Carpenter's Christine.
Yes. And again, I didn't know anything. I was just like doing it as I would do it if I were doing it, whatever I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But later, I found out that you have to be serious to do acting. To really do it, you have to be serious about the bullshit. And I think I couldn't do that. That just felt like insanity to me. To be serious, I mean seriously serious about whatever the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So I quit acting.
Yeah.
I'm a musician originally.
Yeah.
You've heard some of my music?
No, but I've read some things like what kind of music you like.
I like. Well, I'm going to play some of my music for you right now. You ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's beautiful.
So you get the idea.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh my God, you're into like New Orleans jazz and all that.
Oh yeah, way past it.
Yeah.
This is past ragtime. This is four hands. I said that before, but I was able to. This is done 1992,
Yeah.
and I was able to make multiple layers of piano.
Mm-hmm.
So I could select. Sometimes there were 3 and 4 hands because I was, at that time, the technology began to exist to be able to do that. Until then, I was always feeling like I need more hands.
Yeah. How old were you when you started playing?
7.
7. Wow.
Yeah.
Did your parents tell you you needed to take piano lessons?
They gave me piano lessons. They paid for somebody to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then gradually I found my own teacher, who was Lenny Tristano.
Mm-hmm.
Lenny Tristano is one of the greatest piano players that ever lived. And I was 15 years old. I started to learn from him. I had no idea who he was. But he was like, he played with Charlie Parker, played with most amazing players there were. And he was a teacher to people like Mingus and Dee Konitz and Warren Marsh. He was an extraordinary teacher. So I was lucky enough to find him. And then I came to what I came to. But I stopped playing about 5 years ago. The MS has taken its toll.
Wow, for a guy who stopped playing, you can sure still play great.
That's not me. That's a recording of me.
Oh. Wow, you fooled me.
Oh. I'm sorry. No, that was a recording.
Yeah. No, it was great. I enjoyed listening to that.
I'm glad. That's where I stopped. That the peak of my musicality is right there.
Mm-hmm.
What I would do if I was running the piano. And I did.
Yeah. When did you start writing songs?
Oh, about 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And did you hear any of my songs?
Oh no, I was actually referring to the funny songs you used to do in the clubs.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to too.
Oh.
Are you ready? I'll sing one for you.
Okay.
But just like a few seconds. Everybody's right, that's why we disagree. That's it.
Oh.
Because everybody's right. To me, it was just a matter of figuring out how the place works, how human beings work.
Mm-hmm.
They said everybody's right.
Yeah.
That's why we disagree.
Absolutely. So do you...
And
mm-hmm.
here's another one. Anything can be argued with. No, it can't. Yes, it can. No, it can't. Yes, it can. No, it can't. Yes, it can. Anything can be argued with. No, it can't. Yes, it can. No, it can't. Yes, it can. Again, it was like that's what consciousness was, human speech.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we have. That's what was going on in my head. And it looked like everybody else's head, too.
Mm-hmm.
And the nature of binary language is that anything can be argued with.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So I did a lot more than acting.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it.
I quit acting a long time ago. And I quit doing serious acting.
Yeah.
Even longer. But I did a whole bunch of commercials for a while.
Yeah.
And I was very successful at that. I mean, I remember I was one time flying on the airplane and I saw a commercial that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like that level of wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, you're like
now I'm retired.
Yeah. I mean, you're like an icon from my childhood, seriously.
Cool.
You know?
Very cool.
I wanted to ask you though, did you get the role in Just One of the Guys because you really did like reptiles?
No, I never met reptiles until then.
Mm-hmm.
I had to make it look like I was in love with them. So that's what an actor does.
Mm-hmm. Were you scared of them though?
No. I wasn't comfortable, but I wasn't scared.
Oh.
That's because the guy who had them to begin with, that brought them to me, he wasn't scared of them either.
Mm-hmm.
And so just kind of feeling him, I took over.
Yeah. Yeah, I've interviewed Tony Hudson and Deborah Goodrich, and I'm going to interview Joyce Heiser pretty soon.
All right. Send my love to everybody.
Yeah, I sure will.
All right. Shake it back to the pork?
Yes, yes, you may, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you take care and have a great life.
You too. Have a good day and a good life too, sir.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Stu Charno. Ain't he a cool dude? Thank you so much, Stu. It was an honor talking to you. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter, friend me on Facebook, and all that good stuff. Join my Tommy Kovac comedian page. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes.